I'm going back 30 years. Okay, boomer. In October of 1989, my marriage ended abruptly. It was a bad marriage. Her name was Leslie, which, is pretty innocuous. If I had known, her real name was Beelzebub, the demon spawn of hell, I probably wouldn't have married her. Anyway, it was a very difficult marriage, and it ended rather abruptly. Before I go to the night that it ended, let me back up about 6 months. We had a game night, a weekly game night. I'm not going to tell you what game. Doesn't matter. It was Dungeons and Dragons, but it doesn't matter. We had a weekly game night, and every once in a while, somebody would bring a friend of a friend kind of a thing, and that's how we got new members. And one night, a friend of ours brought in this young woman, and I saw her, and I did one of the holy shit, genuine double takes I ever did in my life, because she was beautiful. Incredibly beautiful. Of course, I was married, so not happening. 6 months later, we're at her brother's wedding in Harvard, Massachusetts, and she announces the day after the wedding in the hotel room, while we're at the edge of starting to have sex, that she wants a divorce. So I had to, what? And we drove home with her father in the car, 5.5 hours, while this was churning around in my head. I managed, for some reason, to this day I don't know, to talk her into holding off for a couple days, just to think about it. And then the following on October 10th, she said, listen, I'm going through the motions. I'm leaving. So she got up, she grabbed her stuff, she walked out and left me and our four-year-old daughter upstairs. I didn't sleep that night. I stayed awake all night. I watched television. Things bounce around in your head when that kind of thing's happening, because you're thinking to yourself, this isn't really going to happen. We've been married 7 years. I've known her for 10 years. It's not real. It's a fight. This is going to be fine. It's going to be fine. It's impossible. This can't be happening. And then, switch right back to, oh my dear God, this is happening. And that's the way it went. 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Next day, I didn't go to work. I got our daughter up. I got her dressed. I took care of her. And all was well. We got through the day. Didn't hear it all from Beelzebub. And then the next day came, and I had to go to work. So Leslie came and took our daughter, and I went to work. And I did a weird thing at work. I walked into work. I was a computer programmer at the time. I was 29 years old. I walked into work. I had this gaggle of friends. I went up to the first one, and I said, hey, how you doing? He said, good. How was your weekend? I said, my wife left me. And he looked at me, and are you kidding? No, she left me. She walked out. So, do you know that nobody knows what to say when you say that to them? I mean, if you go up to somebody and say, my grandfather died, they say, oh my dear God, I'm so sorry to hear that. It's really awful. But when you come out and you say, oh, my wife left me, they're like, that's inconvenient. So I did that with about 6 people, and I tried to tell myself I was doing it because I wanted to clear the air. I wanted so that if I behaved like a jackass or something, that was what was behind it. But the truth of it is, I was doing it because I wanted the pity. Because that's the few thing you can get when you're on the receiving end of a really, really painful breakup is pity. But then the next day came, and I was standing at the speed line station, getting ready to go to work again, and a funny thing happened. There was a young woman on the platform with me. Just, standing over there, way over there. But I noticed her, which I didn't used to do. And suddenly, the world of possibilities opened up. It had been 10 years. And suddenly, all these possibilities opened up. So, 3 weeks later, I started dating. I started dating the young woman who had been the double take. Yes. And, rebound. You know how they go, right? Yeah. We started dating, which pissed Leslie off so much. I was supposed to be shattered, damn it. She didn't like that. She liked it even less when I proposed to this woman. And, in fact, married her before she married the guy she left me for. She thought, you're moving on awful fast. You didn't even fight for me, she said. Oh, I was supposed to fight for you. Okay. The moral of the story is, the end of the story is that the woman who was that double take, who was my rebound, is sitting over there. We have been together for 30 years. Yeah, so any minute now I expect the rebound thing to kick in. And point is, and I'm not going to drag this thing out, the point is that, my favorite Dickens book starts, it was the best of times, it was the worst of times. It took me a long time to understand that leaving me was the absolute best thing that Leslie ever did for me. And that's really the day my life started. And that's it, folks. Thank you.